There was only 2 graders in Weipa then. My uncle was one and he was the other grader operator. Being lunchtime sort of thing and hot and that up there, thought I'd just have a quick little, buddy, sit in the water here, it only looked shallow. And it was where he was sitting, but a couple of metres in front of him, it actually dropped down to where it was like a couple of metres deep. It happened to be a 16-foot croc just sitting in there, and actually dragged him up to a deeper hole, another 100-odd metres up on the bend of a creek. It was a deep hole. Yeah, my uncle found one of his legs there and had to pull it out. They ended up finding the croc, saw the croc in this deep water hole, and so they threw all the bloody jelly and that in there and let her rip and that, and my uncle reckoned, bloody all the water left the hole and bloody palm trees and shit was going everywhere, and when it all settled, then my uncle put his tinny in there and they gaffed around for about an hour, and then they hooked the croc and then hooked it up to my uncle's four-wheel drive and dragged him out and cut the croc open. His mate was inside of him. All in one piece except for his two legs.
Oh.
Yeah, his eyes were wide open still and looking at him.
Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumzie and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, "How does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. How do I get a job doing that?" My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumzie journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig? Mining? Crack me up. Hello and welcome to episode 52. This week is a happy hour episode where I speak with a miner called Will. He is a new friend of mine and connected to a very old friend who said to watch out for me in our local town, and we hooked up. Well, we didn't. Oh my God, we didn't hook up. We connected, and you need to listen on how that unfolded. And a couple of days later, I sat down and recorded this interview with Will. He said that he was a bit shy and he didn't know what a podcast was. He thought that I was going to record it and then type it up. Well, I'm starting to get used to most people knowing what a podcast is nowadays. 2.5 years ago when I started, I was used to everyone saying, podcast, what's that? Oh, how do you make money out of it? But now, so many podcasts are promoted, advertised. You see, listen to our podcast on radio, TV and everything. So at least people have heard of it. But Will wasn't quite sure. Anyway, we sat down and had a wonderful chat. It is a long episode, but I know that you're probably listening as you're travelling. Are you sitting in a machine right now? Perhaps you've got it on your USB because you're one of my organised peeps. Perhaps you're on site right now. Might be night shift, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you're listening on your USB in your machine, pumping Mad Mumzie and her guest Will through your stereo, whilst listening to the two-way, probably two ways, and doing a job. But that's how we roll. Us miners, we can do everything. So, like I say, this is a very long episode, goes for nearly a couple of hours, but is a gold. I couldn't believe how many stories Will had in him, and the only thing that was stopping us was he needed to duck out and have a smoke. This is the backup recording of my episode, and thank God I did it because it was such a golden, as I like to say, gold dripping from the ceiling, but it was coal, but that's black and shitty and dirty. We are going to go for a part 2, which is happening in a few days. He's gone out to work and now he's back on break, because it was the whole reason I wanted him on the podcast, other than his mining journey, which I didn't know about until, or not much of, until I interviewed him as you'll hear. And I nearly cried a couple of times. You'll hear how a dream that I had the night before totally connected to this conversation in a huge way. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with my new friend, having a few more beers and getting part 2 of the conversation. You'll need to listen to the end to find out why we need to do part 2, because that's what made me invite him onto the podcast in the first place. If all has gone to plan, this episode will be the first time that in the show notes you can see timestamps where I say what we're talking about at what time. And it's amazing, really, how many subjects we did cover in this conversation. So I hope that you enjoy it and keep your mind on the job and don't get too scared, because it gets a bit scary sometimes, yucky. That's enough from me. Let's dig in, get it, dig, mining. Oh, crack me up. Take it away, Mad Mumzie and Will. Will I am. So here we are, episode 52, and I have come to my new friend Will's place, and we're having a beer and we're going to have a chat. He doesn't like to talk much, he reckons, but he talked the ear off me the other night, and we'll get into how we actually met shortly. And I was just checking with him to make sure that he's happy to be called Will, and he started telling me a story about being called Will and what a supervisor said. So let's kick off with that one, Will.
Just when I started at Dornier there, I ended up with Will I Am, and all because the supervisor introduced me to the crew as Will I Am, and that kind of just stuck then. And it wasn't until about a month later when I was at home watching the music channels, and then I see who Will I Am is on there.
And I don't really know. So is Will I Am is a singer?
Yeah.
Is this your sort of style of music?
Not normally, no.
Not normally?
Yeah.
That's right. So how did the crew take it? They took it on board and called
and he's dark and I'm white.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. It's like, oh, yep.
Over America or somewhere like that. Then I had a bit of a laugh about it then. But it just everyone just called me that then. Copy Will I Am.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. And it's funny with nicknames. I'll just say this. I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. If you don't like a nickname, don't stand up and say, don't call me that, because the more you say that, the more it's going to stick. You just let it go. They'll come up with something else later. That happened at Burton there. Because, like obviously my mum and, sister and all them years ago, they used to call me Willie, And then as you get a bit older, Willie sounds a bit, creepy.
Just Will will do. And then
I'm grown up now.
And then that's what happened at another mine there years ago too. I said that to the supervisor, I said, it's just Will, not Willie, not Will, William, just Will.
I am.
And then he goes, and when he introduced me too, this is a different mine, and he goes, everybody, this is Will, not Willie. And then everyone called me Willie at that mine.
I thought you were going to say he introduced you as just Will.
But then back at Burton I had other friends there as well that they used to always too just call me Willie, I suppose. Probably because I said the same thing, don't call me that. And then it kind of, but I used to let them get away because they're friends.
That's right, friends can get away with many things. As this podcast is called the Beers with a Minor podcast, I like to start each episode by asking my guests what's their favourite beverage and their best time to enjoy it. And what is yours, Will? Will I Am? Just Will? Willie?
Start off with a couple Great Northerns and then slide on over to the old Bundy rum cans.
Oh, Great Northern being a beer for those who might be interstate or overseas who don't know that.
The beer from up here, North Queensland.
That's right, but it's not actually, is it? Isn't it made in Castlemaine down in Brizzy or something?
I don't know. They just say the beer from up here. So
they have really good advertising.
When I'm out in my boat, I'll do little videos and stuff too, and I'll always have the beer out there in the video and that too. I'll put that on there too. The beer from up here.
The beer from up here. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. See, look at you. You said you were shy making videos.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I've just come out of the closet. Yeah, not long ago. Yeah.
Oh, righto. No, not that closet.
No, not the other closet.
Not that there's anything wrong with that closet.
No, each their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you drink the heavy Great Northern, or they have a mid-strength, don't they, or a light?
They got the. I just drink the standard one.
The real one.
Yeah, the real one. Yeah.
The original.
Well, it's the heavy one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have got the lighter one, but
yeah,
no, it's the heavy one.
I've had a couple of those, and it knocks me. Like, actually, for my listener, when I first arrived here, I packed my 4X Gold cans in. Yeah. My listeners know that's my beverage of choice.
Yeah.
And Will here had a Great Northern out ready for me. I was like, oh, thank you. I brought my own. We wouldn't have got a podcast done if I had a heavy beer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We all know women can't handle the beers,
No! Right, that's it. Right. Get me another one.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. And then you go on to rum and Coke, was it?
Yeah, just the cans mainly,
Pre-mixed?
Mm.
Yep. And do you pour it out of the can into a glass with ice, or do you just spill it out of the can?
Straight out of the can.
So you just swap
No
cans.
mucking around. That takes too much time and effort.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's noisy. I've interviewed people who drink that. And it's very hard to hear the tinkling of the eyes.
Occasionally I'll grab a bottle of rum and just for backup and that, and then mix them in. But I just rather grab a carton and that's it. Put them in the esky and job done.
Happy days.
No mucking around.
No.
More time for storytelling.
Look at you go. You're a natural at this now. All right, speaking of storytelling, what a good segue. Let's get into your mining journey. Or before we do that, let's talk about how we actually met, which was, 2 days ago?
Yeah, at the Kalen Fishing Classic.
Yes,
yeah.
Big fishing competition in our area.
Yeah, but I do... I work with another fella that mentioned your name and said that he knew you and lived over my way when I told him where I was from, and so I said, I'll endeavour to try and catch up with her one of these days, and then we're at the fish comp and we're on the bus, courtesy bus. I did the sensible thing and caught the courtesy bus there.
As did I.
Because, especially if you're working in mining and or same as a lot of jobs, you can't afford to do your licence and that, and so we did the right thing, and then seeing you get on the bus, and I thought, I think that might be her.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting on the bus, and I knew the bus driver because she was a local, so we were having a bit of a catch up, and then this random dude across the aisle
look at this clown, look at this weirdo, axe murderer type looking.
No, he said, what did you say? I think I know you.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I said your name wouldn't be Leanne by any chance.
And I'm like, why? It depends who's asking or something, the conversation that you have, Yeah.
Then I just said, I work with one of your friends and who you used to work with there a while ago. And
so it was all good.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome. Hello to you, because I know you'll be listening. We won't mention your name. I miss you. We worked together for years. And you get really close to the people that you work with, don't you?
Yeah, we work together there pretty regular and that.
Yeah.
If not in the same pit side by side like one digger, or we've been paired up too there just a few weeks ago.
Yep.
On the coal digger.
Yeah.
It could be overburden one day and half a day, or then coal the next one.
Yep. So let's dig into your mining journey. Do you like that? Dig,
geez.
get it?
Yeah,
mining.
dig, yeah, the penny drop.
Yeah, you got it. That's my little standard joke. I think I'm funny.
Yeah, righto. Let's go back. A while ago now, about 25 years ago, I suppose. I was about 22 and a half, I think. Then when I got in started mining with. Back them days they were called Camalco, which they're now Rio Tinto.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they used to be Camalco?
Yeah, yep. Right. Yeah. And I'd already lived life before then. I did various jobs, ringing and everything, and concrete and all that. But then I eventually got up to Weipa there when I was about 22. Oh, I went up there when I was 18, but then I worked up there for a few years with contractors. Did every job in Weipa there was to do, and that's as far as wrecking yard, pulling parts off cars, changing tyres. I was driving, the company I worked with, they had taxis as well, so then I used to drive taxis like in the evenings and weekends and that for sideline job, like a bit of extra money and that. And I worked at the airport doing the baggage handling and actually plugging into the plane there with the headphones and talking to the pilots and all that, tell them that, like, the chocks are in, they can release the brakes and all that, yeah. And so, yeah, I did pretty much, and worked at the wharf in Weipa, delivered all the furniture, mail to the post office, everything. Delivered furniture all the houses there. And then, yeah, eventually, and I've been putting in, so this one goes out to people that are trying to get into mining and they get rejection, like don't give up, like, because I would have put in probably 6 times, 8 times maybe over the couple of years, and then and you do get a little bit disheartened, but I just kept at it, and then one day, yeah, I got the phone call and they said, oh, we've noticed you around town and you've pretty much done every job here and we thought might be time we give you a job in the mines, eh?
Oh.
And then I got a funny story for that one too, because the very, very first day I started there in the mines, then this Sheila, she just started there as well in the laboratory section,
I'll just interrupt you for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll do this as we go through. What did you start off doing?
In mining?
When you first started.
When I first started there, I was actually like fixed plant operator in the kaolin section there. It's like a clay they mine there. It was just a little side product thing there that Camalco got into, but they were mainly bauxite. But they had this kaolin section, and it actually gets processed overseas and that, and is all the all that glossy stuff like on your magazines and that, Playboy. Oh no, did I say that?
Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah, those ones, that glossy look on their magazines. That's what they make that out of.
Oh, so that goes over the top of the paper.
Yeah,
in the process.
Yeah, it's for the paper coating industry. Yeah, that's where I started off, and I was a fixed plant operator. But then, because actually like about 5 k's away from the processing plant is actually where the start of it is at the classification plant, is where they mine it. Well, the scrapers mined it, which I ended up doing that later on.
Yeah.
But they mine it and build great big stockpiles there for us, and then they need a loader there, see, and then because I'd already had loader experience from working in civil before I started mining, then when they were short a loader, I got the job out there pretty quick on the loader.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
what loader was it?
It was a Komatsu WA800.
Right.
Yeah. And well, they only had that one for a little while, and it was sort of on its way out. And they actually flew me and another 5 other operators down on a little 6-seater Cessna down from Weipa to Cape, to Cape Flattery on the east coast, where they got an operation there, silica sand mine, and they had. This is when the first stick steer loaders come out with no steering wheels. So I was part of that crew.
Isn't that funny? Because I learned in a steering wheel loader, and then I got in one that didn't like.
Well, I'd done
it. Save the grader, you're like, where's the fucking steering wheel? How am I meant to drive this?
Yeah, well, I've done the M's and all that too, but years after, well, that's when I drove my first grader up at Weipa there as well, 16G, never been on a grader in my life, 16G, same as a scraper, 657 twin engine,
They're weird scrapers.
Yeah, I've done that quite a lot over the years as well, different
I
jobs.
had to load a scraper once with a loader.
Yeah. Done that gravel. And been loaded by excavators and everything, yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, all different sort of jobs and that over the years. But, so getting back to the story about when I...
the girl first in the laboratory,
Well, what happened, right, I was still working for this contractor, out of the airport and all the other jobs around town, but I was in the process of starting in the mines, you know, like I only had another like few days until I was going to start there. But I was working out at the airport, and this girl's flown in on the airport, on the plane, and she's like noticed me like out there on the airstrip, you know, like probably my good looks or something. I don't know, like
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Anyway, and then a couple of days later, I actually rock up at her place in a truck with her container on the back. So, because I said that's what I did. I did everything, you know, unloaded furniture. I did in '91 there when I before I started with Camalco. I actually packed up. They had a big chop there, and I had to pack up. Like I did pack.
They had a big what? A big
like,
chop.
You know, like
what's that?
Got rid of all the dead wood.
Chop. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Got you.
They sacked a lot of people, and I was there at that time, and they just got a new manager in where he didn't know anyone, and just a lot of staffies, you know, and just went boom, boom, boom. Yeah, people were at work and that, and they just come in the office and said, "Oh, we've got a taxi for you outside. Don't worry about packing up any gear. Just jump in the taxi and we'll send you stuff."
Doesn't it suck?
Yeah, and then so I did house removals for like the next 3 months, and it was pretty sad then because we were going around to these people and packing them up, and like you got to write on the boxes and that, like, you know, the address where they're going to and all this, and we go, "Oh, what were we?" And a lot of them, some of them had a plan and knew where they're going, and some of them they're like, I don't know, I'm not sure yet, because they weren't planning on going, you know. Yeah, so that was hard.
Was it still Camalco then, or was that when Rio took over?
No, that was still Camalco. Yeah, it was still Camalco because I left in about '96. Yeah, right. Towards the end of '96, and it was still Camalco then. I was employed by. It was sometime after that. A year or two or something after that when they changed over to Camalco, Rio Tinto. Yeah, anyway, so back to this girl that just started there. So she noticed me at the airport. Then a couple of days later, I rock up at her place with her container, you know, full of all her household stuff. So I unpacked that, and she's kind of thinking, "Oh, that's a bit funny. That's a bloke at the airport the other day." Anyway. And then I pretty much, I think it was the next day or two, I finished up with that job, and then I started the new job, and then she was starting her new job with Camalco, like same thing. And I'm down there having smoko at this new kaolin plant, and then she rocks up there to come over to get the samples, you know. And then she just stopped dead in the tracks, and she's like,
"You're everywhere."
She's like, "Get out of here," she says. "What don't you do around this town?" She said, "You're at the airport the other day, then you brought my gear around. Pretty sure I seen you driving a taxi the other day too." And I said, "Yep." I said, "Yeah, I've just started here today." So yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah. So from then on, pretty much you stuck with mining?
Pretty much, yeah. I just left just the odd time here and there, and had it, you know, after like 10 odd years or so, sort of needed a little break in that, and so I went fencing and professional roof shooting and pig hunting and all that there for about 2 years, and but then the prices and roos and pigs went right down, and then the bloody fencing sort of died off a bit as well, and so went back to mining again, and so pretty much been doing that again for the last 14 years straight, but total I've been 25 years pretty much.
25 years. Yeah. Cheers to you. Cheers for that.
Yep.
Let's talk about what machines you've operated then. Because I know a lot of people who listen who are like, "Oh, I drove one of them," or "That's a pig of a dozer," or... Yeah, especially the older ones, you know.
Well, like anywhere you get in the mining, like obviously if you haven't done anything before, they got the traineeships and stuff going and that, and you're not expected to know anything, but it's always to your advantage if you have done those sort of jobs. Might be working on station, driving tractors and loaders and things like that, or
in our area,
or civil, like I did. I started in civil when I was like 14 and a half. So I was just doing the labour thing first, and I watched and learned the older fellas on the diggers and loaders and that, and I was just get this, get that, and try and stay out of the road, but you're actually watching and you're learning, you know. And then eventually when I was about 16, then I started getting on the backhoes, loaders and the diggers.
Yep.
Yeah, like my first digger I ever drove, I was only like about 16, and it was a Kato 550 chain and sprocket driven. Like they, you know, like they got the big chain that runs from the front to the back down on the track there. Yeah, and they got different. You got like foot control commands as well instead of just the levers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you got off there after the first time operating, you knew you had a set of legs. Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier about loader legs.
And then when you say the other diggers that they had for digging the main trenches and that 20 tonners and that 30 tonners. Well, back them days they didn't have any like quick hitches, you know. So every time you had to change the buckets, well, you being a young fella, you had to fly up and like knock the pins out, you know.
Manually
move all the big sledge. You knock the pins out, change the bucket over, put the pins back in again. It was one until I was about 18. Then the excavators come out with this quick hitch thing on it. It was like the best thing since sliced bread.
So I clearly am not a digger driver.
Yeah.
And I've heard about quick hitches and stuff. So can you explain to those of us who don't know what that is?
Oh, well, it's just there's a little hydraulic ram just that you release it and then you can drop your bucket off and then change over to a different attachment. It could be like a ripper or a rock breaker or different size dig bucket, mud bucket, clean up bucket, you know, batter bucket, whatever they want to call it. And then you put it on and then you flick your quick hitch and it locks back in again. But when they come out, they're supposed to be like got to have a safety pin with them too, you know, like in case, because them pins or the little rams, they can actually not click in properly too, and actually nearly happened to me. I nearly got killed because of that when I was probably about 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. We were in a scenario that didn't happen very often. Normally you would put the pin in, but in this scenario, the digger driver had to slew around and take the bucket off and let the loader fill the bucket up with gravel, and then he hooked back on it to it again. And then if the bucket was empty, well then you always flick it out, you know, put everything out full reach, and then if it's going to fall off, it'll fall off then.
Yep.
But in that scenario, because it's already got gravel in the bucket, you couldn't really check it. And then I was down in the trench, and then when he come around and started tipping the gravel out, well the bucket fell off and nearly landed on me. Yeah. And so I just climbed up out of the trench and went over the ute and had a smoke and
changed your pants.
Yeah. Yep.
And was there a big investigation into it, or just like, sorry about that, mate? Nearly got you, Will.
Yeah.
Lucky you, young sprite, you get out of the way quick.
The bucket just landed like only. I dove back, jumped back a little bit because I just seen a bit of a blur out of my eye, and I just knew something wasn't quite right, so I just sort of dove back a bit.
Yeah.
And then boom, landed right in front of me. Yeah. So that was lucky, but if you have got the opportunity, you know, like with a bit of that sort of experience, that always helps, you know. Anything you can get along the way to get into mining is always good. So that's why when I got that started in that kaolin plant, well, I was lucky I got on the loader there pretty quick because I already had loader experience and ticket and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And then from then on, but the only thing then when I got to the mines, the machines just got really big all of a sudden instead of the little ones. But I remember driving past that same loader when I drove my 1971 HQ Holden into Weipa.
God, imagine how much that'd be worth if you still had it.
Yeah, I know.
Holy fuck,
yeah, I sold it up there like a year later for only about $4,000, you know, because I had to get like a full drive then to get out around up Cape York then, you know.
Yeah.
And but me and the missus drove up there with everything we owned in the back seat and the boot, and I even had to when we got up to the Palmer River there's the Palmer River Roadhouse and the range and that there before you drop down to Lakeland Downs there, and the road was still gravel back in them days, all bitumen now, and there's big bundy sticking out of the road everywhere, and it's corrugated and that, and I had whiteys on because my HQ was stock standard when I bought it, and and still had like the visor and bug catcher on at the front and all that.
Cool granddad car.
Yeah. But I took all that off and put the big old Holden sticker up there and put mags on her and.
What colour was it?
It was metallic gold.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And then I put black spoiler on the back and that. So. Yeah. But then the problem with that was because of the road, the weight in the car and the road conditions. The tyres were scrubbing on the wheel guards at the back. So
because you had all shit.
Chopping me tyres a bit. So I had to end up taking the 2 spare tyres out of the boot, and I had to put them up the front of the car up on top, and I didn't have any roof racks, so I just put them on pillows, and I run a rope in through the doors, the windows, and that to keep the tyres on and the road. And our plan was to go to Cooktown and then up to Weipa and that, but then with the road conditions like that, we said, better not worry about going to Cooktown, we better just keep on poking up to Weipa, and we're doing about 50 k's all the way up there. We're actually driving in the table drain instead of the road, because the drains were actually smoother than what the roads were.
Because of the corrugation.
Yeah. I went up there.
Did you have any kids then?
No.
How many kids you got now?
Just the two we had. Yeah, 2 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we rocked into Weipa with the HQ and everything we owned in the back seat, and we left there, about 7 years later or whatever, 2 kids and a sea container full of shit, and like I'd been there 7 years at that point. I did 3 years with contractors around town work and stuff, and then 4 years with Camalco. That's which included the kaolin plant, processing plant, loader operator. Then I internally transferred over to the scrapers, and then into the bauxite side of things as well. And then they were actually cutting back then and offered voluntary redundancies, and which I put in for and kept getting rejected about 3 times. Because you were too valuable? Oh, well, yeah, because they were just having a bit of a cutback again and same thing, but they reckon they would like me to stay. But I saw it as an opportunity to, get a bit of a redundancy and pay it, and then like a deposit for a house and that, and and then after being there for 7 years, thought, time to move on and that. And
it's hot up there.
Yeah.
Hot and humid and...
So I went down to, I went to Charters Towers just briefly.
Sorry, I'll just interrupt. For those that may not know, Weipa is right at the top of Australia, pretty, on the right of Darwin, kind of.
That's right. No, it's in no, it's the top of sort of up in it's in the Gulf of Queensland.
Yes, it's in Queensland.
Nearly up the tip there, you'd say, but it's still a fair bit of a swim,
Yeah.
But with the sharks and crocs chasing you, you get there a bit quicker.
Yeah. True. Actually, maybe that's what I had a dream about crocodiles last night. That might be why. Because I got a few stories about them too. Oh God, I bet you do.
From living up Weipa for that long.
Yeah. Tell us one then. A short one.
Oh well, like when I first got to Weipa there, and then every evening after work I went fishing at the same spot for about 5 days in a row, and then I used to see this a fair sized croc. He's probably about 14 foot, and he used to swim down the middle of the creek, just like about half hour before dark. And then on about the 5th day, I was looking for him. You could set your watch to him,
Yep.
And on the 5th day, I was just on a gravel boat ramp near a bridge there, Ending Bridge Creek there, and then I was looking for him and I couldn't see him, I thought, oh, that's weird. And then I looked down in the water and he was right down in front of me, only about 2 foot under the water, looking up at me.
Looking at you.
Yep. Yeah, that put the wind up me, that did.
So what did you do?
So if I had to it was only lucky I didn't go down and wash my hands or something like that.
Did you used to do that?
I was, I always was a bit dubious because I knew the story about my uncle, because his mate got eaten up in Weipa there in 74.
Oh.
My uncle and his mate or 2 of his mates were out, fishing and peak hunting, camping on their days off, because he worked for Camalco back then as well, years ago. That was in 74 it was, and and then my uncle and his mate went fishing, and the other mate said, "Oh, I'm going to stay here and go for a bit of a pig hunt." So when they come back from fishing that Arby, then he hadn't come back, so they end up going out looking for him after dark, and they found his car, but obviously it's too dark to keep searching. But first daylight they went looking, went down a little creek there, and then they found his clothes and gun leaning up beside a tree there, and they could see what happened. He'd went for a swim, and it was only like a freshwater creek there, and wasn't real wide, wasn't real deep. Well, there was a little bit of a hole there, but it had water lilies and things like that, but it was only pools and that, and there was a bit of a cattle crossing there and that, and I was just unlucky this croc was sitting in there, be sweating on a beast or a pig, and he just come along, and and he was due to leave Weipa and go back to Western Australia in 2 weeks' time, and there was only 2 16 graders in Weipa then. My uncle was one, and he was the other grader operator. And then, and just unfortunately, he went in there and thought, because he, being lunchtime sort of thing and hot and that up there, thought I'll just have a quick little, buddy, sit in the water here, it's only looked shallow. And it was where he was sitting, but a couple of metres in front of him, it actually dropped down to where it was a couple of metres deep. And there happened to be a 16-foot croc just sitting in there. And, so they end up going back in town and telling the police what happened, and then they come out there, and Camalco was actually, they used to have explosives on site back in them days, but they were getting away from that, and they had a few cases left that they give to the police and said, you can, use these if you want, because where it actually took him there, but it actually dragged him up to a deeper hole, another 100 odd metres up on the bend of a creek.
That's
a
what
deep
they
hole.
do, don't they? They hide him, and
so they, my uncle found one of his legs, there, and had to pull it out, and then and they ended up finding the croc, saw the croc in this deep water hole, and so they threw all the bloody jelly and that in there, and let her rip, and that, and my uncle reckons, buddy, all the water left the hole, and buddy, palm trees and shit was going everywhere, and when it all settled, then my uncle put his tinny in there, and they gaffed around for about an hour, and then they hooked the croc, and then hooked it up to my uncle's four-wheel drive, and dragged him out and cut the croc open. His mate was inside of him, all in one piece except for his two knees, legs. And he's and they cut him open, and his eyes were wide open still, and looking at him, and
After that, can I have my other beer? Please. So that's just one story, and that's why I was a little bit, I knew that story. Did the croc die with the explosives?
The shock just killed it straight away. But like I said, I hadn't seen my uncle since I was probably about 10-year-old, because I'd only been up Weipa not long, and I hadn't met up with him yet. Because he was off prospecting, So I was a little bit dubious, but after I met my uncle, then he actually took me out and showed me that spot where it all happened, and then educated me on crocs and stuff like that, and then I was a lot more wary after that.
So do you think that he would have thought, like you said, the cattle were going through and that it was just a puddle and there wouldn't be crocs in there?
And because it was a fair way up the front, it was a fair way from the tidal as well, and so he probably didn't realise. I don't know.
How old was he?
He would have only been early 30s or something, because my uncle was only about the same then as well.
How did your uncle handle that?
Cut him up for a while, because they were mates and that, and my uncle actually buried the crockhead that, and then he went back out there, a while later and that, and but the pigs had dug it up and that, smelled it and dug it up and wrecked it sort of thing, so.
Okay, go and get me beer.
Please.
Right. They're in the... Sorry, I don't know where your fridge is. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I get it myself. Well, holy shit, I'm never going up there. That explains to me my dream last night.
Yeah.
It was serious shit. There were some serious crocodiles in this big river. We're still recording. And I will
just
open this because my listeners love this sound.
Yeah.
They know it's my favourite sound in the world.
Yeah, and it got me on
Sorry,
the leg.
I got you.
Yeah. And I'm on a new couch.
Special.
But just touching back on like croc stories and stuff, like we just had the fishing comp here.
Yes.
At Kalen, and and then when I was down there, a boat pulled up not far from me, and it was like two blokes and Sheila in there, and they get out there and look like they're just going to do a bit of casting.
You mean here
bait.
this weekend?
Yeah,
Oh.
just the other day, yeah.
Okay.
And there's one fella then just like jumps in beside the boat, and it's like way over his head, and he's just paddling around there beside the boat having a swim, and everybody knows like there's crocs all around Kalen here, and
especially at
Mackay area and that. I mean, whether they seen one, but when you live up Cape York and Darwin and places like where I've been, and you've seen them firsthand, and like I know the story about my uncle's mate, and like some people just got no idea, and I said to my friend I took out fishing there, I said, have a look at that, would you? Like,
did you say anything to them?
No, like what you can't go around telling everybody, people what to do. Like, but I was just like, next minute he gets eaten, and then it'll be on the news, and the poor fellow was just out fishing and that, and got taken.
And he didn't know about the stuff.
Just got taken by a croc, but yet his own stupid fault because he jumped in the water. Same thing when I was up Weipa there, coming back from pig hunting one day, and that same place where I was telling you that croc was looking at me at the boat ramp.
Yeah.
Then there was a mob of tourists there, and they were all sitting up to their waist, sitting there drinking beers in that river. And there's like 14, 16 foot of crocs in there. And I pulled up and said, and there's a big sign right beside them saying, estuarine crocodiles inhabit this river. And I said, mate, there's big crocs in here. You just don't want to be sitting there like, yeah, you'll be right, mate, Like on the news the other day, I just see on Facebook something news clipping from up Darwin there. Same thing, bloke was up waist deep out in the bay up at Darwin there. And some other fellas fishing said, hey mate, you want to get out of there? And he just shrugged it, oh yeah, you're right mate. Like people get eaten and then next minute they want to race around, and kill the croc, and yet, you know what I mean?
I don't know what else we can...
Like we got to learn to live with them, Like, we're in their territory.
I don't know what else we can do. This is my sister, Hard Hat Mentor. My listeners know she's a safety weirdo, in mining and stuff. She's whenever you talk about, like I caught myself just before, I said, but there's signs there. And she says, sign, everywhere a sign. There's some funny song on YouTube or something. And it's just... people don't read signs, or if you see a sign at every boat ramp, there's crocodiles here. Yeah, never seen one or whatever.
But see, until people actually see it for themselves, a lot of people hear about it and all this, but until you actually seen them yourself, it doesn't really kick in.
All right, well, we'll try to get back to mining, but anyone listening, take it from Will that just don't fuck with crocodiles. And I dreamt about them last night, so that's a real thing. That's freaking me out a bit. So no wonder you're like, right, bugger the crocodiles. Me and the missus got 2 kids now. Packed up our shit, left Camalco. Where'd you go next?
Went back down to Ipswich there, away for a little while. Back in like civil pipeline concrete, that's where I started before I was in mining, and went back to that for a little bit. But I was only there, I don't know. Probably 8 months, probably 10 months, and I'm like, can't do this down in the big smoke anymore after living up Weipa for that long, and because I already just been there and left there, and then but Darwin always had a ring to it, for me. So sounded like a bit of adventure and that, and so I ended up going up to Darwin.
And mining?
No, not mining there, civil up there. But and then I left there and come to Charters Towers and then went back into mining.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And what machines were you operating at Charters? Charters.
Yeah, Charters. Yeah.
I know Charters. That's in the
Charlie's trousers, they call it. Charlie's trousers.
So for anyone who doesn't know,
Charlie's towels.
That's inland from Townsville.
Yeah, that's right. About hour and 20 drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's further than that from Townsville.
No.
I did it in
not if you got a fast car. It's not.
Oh, I did. I was going to say I did it in my Hyundai. I think it took forever.
What are you going by? What are you going by? Horse and buggy still?
Hyundai scared. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Time. And then if you keep going from Charters, you end up out at Mount Isa.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's where I was heading.
Yeah.
Because I worked at what's that mine called? Ernest Henry. Yeah. Yeah, and I drove out there in my Hyundai all by myself.
Yeah.
Scary.
No, I did nearly all the mines in Charters Towers there, because then we were at Charters Towers for 7 years, and that's where the kids did all their primary school in there, pretty much. Yeah. And yes, I did the Mount Leishan, Thalanga. I had a couple of goes at Thalanga there, and then Pyro Reward mine, that was underground, so I went underground. I thought I'd...
Real mining.
Yeah, I was just something, I hadn't done, so I wanted to just give it a go, just for the sake I can say I did it, it was alright, but I was like diamond drilling off-sider, like throwing all the drill rods and core samples and all that,
Very physical.
Yeah, that's why I'm so big and fit, like why I am today,
I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's handy.
Clearly you're not in underground now.
No. But I still keep doing my exercise and keep in shape. Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's handy, quite handy when you work underground and that. Yeah, like because when you die, like you already know your way around.
You're planning on going to the other good place, the bad place. Have you ever seen that show on Netflix, The Good Place? Oh my God.
That's what they told me when I started underground. These other lads there been doing it forever and day. They said that to me. And I was like, I don't know where they're going with this. They said, "Oh, it's handy work underground, mate." And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And they're like, because when you die, then you already know your way around. I'm like, oh
used to tunnels and shit.
Yeah. Oh, when you get put in the hole, you already at home.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, I've been here before.
Used to
I'm like, oh, these fellas got a sense of humour.
How long did you stay underground?
Oh, it wasn't long. Yeah, it was only a few months, but that was mainly
sunshine.
That was only mainly that was one reason. I like to see the trees and the birds and stuff and that, and the other reason, but the fellow I was working for, he wasn't a real good payer and that, so I sort of got out while I could, and luckily I did, because then I'd only just left a week or so, and then the mine flooded.
Oh. Yeah,
because the portal was that's the opening, entrance to the underground.
Yeah, the scary bit.
Well, originally when they did the original open cut there, then at the bottom of that, then they went underground, then they put a portal in there, but then they had to blank that one out, like put a big concrete plug in there, as they do. Like there's people that just go around to all mines, and they specialise in putting that concrete plug in, like old portholes.
Yeah.
And they put a new porthole in higher up, so that old porthole then is down at the bottom of the old open cut, and then there's a heap of water in there now. Now it's just like a big dam, And then even when I first started there, the first day I started there, and we're driving down in the entrance there, and then we go down to this level, and then they point out, and you can see the back of this concrete plug. There's all water oozing in around it and stuff. And then I'm thinking about all the water that's up above you, and thinking, well, that's not good. And seeing that's what happened. But what they do when they build these plugs, they have like a 150 mil stainless steel pipe that goes through the centre of this plug, and on the outside, that's going to be underwater, they have like valves and that on there as well. But they're all like supposed to be stainless steel. But what happened was one of them fittings was only say like galvanised fitting or something like that, and it corroded away because the water's acidic, and it rusted, and then the whole lot fell off, and then they couldn't stop the water. See. Yeah.
So they got everyone out?
Oh, yeah. It was like so it flooded, but there was still enough time for everyone to get out, but not all the equipment, Not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Response. especially the drill that I was working with, because you just don't pack them up and move them real quick, you know. It's all right like a underground loader, bogger and that, or the trucks, they can just like drive it head out, you know.
Yeah. So were you in development or the long haul? Look at me.
Yeah.
Real mind of me proud.
we were still doing the the exploration, like, you know, and they were trying to see where the ore's going and that.
Because that was gold mine. So
that was gold,
isn't it, mainly?
It was copper and gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, where I first started in mining was a gold mine, but we had, from what I understand, there was a shitload more copper there than gold, but the shareholders liked that it was a gold mine. Yeah. Yep. Because they always go together, don't they? Copper and gold.
Normally. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. We'll get into gold further down the track when we start talking about Plan B.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got out of the underground. Then what'd you do?
Then
you were in Charters Tower. So what happened after that? Yeah.
So then I went back. I went to.
Hang on, sorry.
Ravenswood.
Can I interrupt? I'm gonna.
You've been doing it all day, I know, so right, I don't see why Neil's any different. Yeah, but okay.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
Mount Leasham. I know some people that work there.
Yeah, that was gold mine. Yeah.
That closed, didn't it?
It did.
It did. Yeah.
That's when I got out because I was still working there, but then like I said, I just wanted to go do something different for a little bit, you know, because by that time I'd sort of had 10 years, you know, nearly mining and that. So I just wanted to get out and and something I always wanted to do back from my ringing days and that. I just wanted to do professional roo shooting and pig hunting and stuff. I'd done pig hunting and that. Like up Weipa, I shot and killed dogs and knives and everything. I shot more pigs and I got my big trophy up there, as you can see.
I saw that up there.
1994, I won the Weipa annual pig hunt for the biggest tusk. That's them set there. And yet, let's see that set here. That's one's my uncle got about 40 years ago up in the Gulf there, and they're like, I've never, all the pigs I shot up Weipa, I've never seen a set like that, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, they were huge, but them ones still won me the pig hunt in '94 there. I went in five of the Weipa pig hunt. I got coolers kicking around here somewhere. They got the Weipa.
See, I can't. The thing with me, my ex, when I met him, early days, same as you, we were together 22 years in 17 when we met and stuff. And he went and did a bit of roo shooting up Cooper Petey way.
Yeah, right.
And for a bit. And you shoot the roos, right?
Yeah.
And when people go pig hunting, I thought, well, they just go and shoot the pigs. But they don't. You get the dogs to drag them down, and then what do you have to go and stab it?
You can't. Yeah, you
it's
can.
Disgusting. I hate it. I can't deal.
Yeah. It depends on what you're doing.
We don't have to go too long into this because we've got a big story to tell. But
it just depends on what you're doing, you know. But when you're because I was doing it for a living, up Weipa I used to just shoot them, you know, and that.
Because there's so many.
Yeah. Well, I only got into the. I used to always just shoot them originally.
Okay.
And then. No dogs, no nothing, just out on my own, my old faithful bloody, first I had an old 308, you know, then I retired it, then I retired it and got a lever action 30-30 Winchester, and and that's all I did really, and then one day this bloke lived up the road from me, was riding the dogs and knives, you know, so he lost his dog, one of his dogs, out on a trip. So then he was heading back out there to look for it. So he just knew I was into. I didn't know him really, but he sort of knew that I'd heard that I was into pig hunting and stuff. So he just come down and introduced himself and asked me if I'd like to go for a run with him, just for another set of eyes to help find his dog. And and that's how I kind of got into the dogs and knives then, you know. Yeah.
Because the dogs get hot and then they run into the creek, don't they, to try and cool off. They get eaten up in winter.
Yeah, that does happen a bit. Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah, and that nearly happened to my dog I had up there. we were pig hunting there, and there was a swamp not far from us, and my dog, he ran down there like just to grab a drink, and then and as I come out through the bush there, I seen a ripple out in the middle of the lagoon there, and then I could see a line of bubbles heading straight for my dog, who was on the edge having a drink, and that's the croc walking along the bottom, and he's disturbing the bottom, and you get that line of bubbles. Yeah, so I had to like call him and make out as if we're going after a pig and that to get him away from the water. Yeah.
And did he get away?
Yeah. But it does happen. It can happen. Like if I hadn't have seen those that little bit of a ripple there, because I thought, did I just see something then there in the middle or not? You know, and then I seen that line of bubbles, and I knew. Yeah.
And you know what to look for.
That's right. Yeah. Well, because my uncle, like I said, because he'd give me all
the
rundown
lessons.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my God, we end up back at crocodiles again.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
Plenty of them up there.
So Charters Towers.
Pigs and crocodiles, they all tie in together.
Pigs and crocodiles and mining, fishing, it all goes to shooting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened after Charters?
Right there, what did we do?
Oh no, tell us what machines you operated.
Oh yeah, well, pretty much diggers, loaders, graders. Yeah, I've always been pretty much my whole life. Yeah, from when I got to like before when I just started with Camalco there at Weipa, I'd only had like the civil, machinery like backhoes, loaders, and excavators, smaller ones. And then when I got into mining, then I got on the graders there when I was on the scrapers. Because you always got to have a grader going around doing your circuits and that. And we got the grader that had a bent mould board because it got run over by a haul truck. A year or so earlier, he was grading the main haul road, and one of the big 150-ton belly dumpers was driving down and run over his blade, and so I had a little bit of a slight bend in it, and that. So they give that to us, the scraper.
So just ran over the blade, so didn't get the car.
Well, mate,
you must have had to the side.
You had it sticking out just a little bit, and then old mate come along probably on night shift and.
Oops.
Yeah. So.
Scary when you're a grader driver.
Yeah, but when the wet season comes, well then when you're on the scrapers, you got to park the scrapers up because it's too wet to drive them then. Yeah. So then you got to go driving the loaders or trucks and that and fill in on that side of things.
Yeah.
And so when the first time I did that was sort of my first time driving the belly dumpers. And
what sort of belly dumpers? What brand?
We had 3 different types. Then we had old green Euclids.
Euclids? I never drove them, but I heard all about the Euclids. People loved them because they go so fast.
Yeah. Then you had the Cat. They were like about, I think they were like a 785 equivalent,
Yeah.
Same tractor sort of, truck, same as you got here, but then you got your tray, which is fixed to your truck, then you got the articulate, you got your belly dumper on the back, and then and you drop your load underneath you. You got doors open up, under your bomb doors, and they open up, and as you drive over a bridge and drop your load down under top of the feeders. Yeah. But my first sort of experience there with like people clowning around and that, which goes on a lot. And me being the like baby sort of, so to speak, up there then. I swapped his hot seating on night shift, and he was finishing like day shift, so he jumped out. I met him down on the ground. I said, "Oh yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, no worries, mate." And then so I climbed up the steps, and then I looked around just before I opened the door on the cab, and the troopy was sort of hanging back a bit, and I was wondering like, what are they waiting for, Anyway, so then I just reefed hold of the door and ripped it open. Well, next minute this bloody air horn, which back in them days they used to sit on top of just above the roof, right head height,
Yeah.
Just when you get in the cab. I ripped the door open. Next minute the air horn went off. Well, I nearly fell over the bloody rails because I just literally shit myself. I didn't know what was going on.
So what was going on?
Well, because he was clowning around and they set me up. He tied, as you know, like you've been around a while, you got the old paper toweling raw, the blue blue raw paper towel.
Oh, the old blue paper
Yeah,
towel.
he made a bit of a rope out of that and tied.
Because it's so strong, that.
Because back then the air horns, your horns was your chain, like the truckies, you know, the old, you know.
No.
Yeah, you got the chain, like the
chain that he's holding his hand up like you pull it. Like if you're in a steam train and you go choo choo.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the horns that trucks had back then.
On the steering wheel.
No, they weren't on the steering wheel. They had
you are old.
They just.
You've been mining a long time.
Yeah, they just had the air horns, you know.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So he's made a rope out of this rook paper toweling. And it's pretty strong shit, eh?
It is. Very.
Yeah, so he's tied it on the chain, and then he's like tied it on the door, just enough so he could get his hands in there and tie it to the door. See, and then when I opened the door, well, then it's pulled the chain air horn, which was at my head height.
Oh my god!
And went off, and I didn't know what was going on.
And it would have stayed on.
It just until I end up like pushing the door, and then I look around, they're just all rolling around laughing, you know, like. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Bloody
there's a section in the things now. When you get them, no horseplay. Well,
no horseplay. There is.
Well,
it's an actual procedure. No horseplay.
Well, that's what used to happen back.
Someone's going to lose an eye.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the funny side.
That's come up a lot in.
I saw the funny side of it a little bit later, but just at that point in time, being young and new and all that, and didn't really know what the hell happened.
Well, the trucks nowadays, a lot of them have a door alarm. So when you open the door, the horn goes off. Brr, brr, brr. Like if you haven't got your park brake on, or whatever, if you're not parked up correctly and you open the door, brr, brr, and everyone at the crib out knows you've fucked up somehow because you've done something wrong on the go line. But I've driven a few machines and the horn gets stuck on.
But back them days, you know, they used to actually, give you wet weather training and all that, but they kind of like had to up there because you'd have 3-4 months of wet weather.
Did they keep operating?
You operate all the time, but when you're only new and young and that like I was, and like they give you actual training, you know, they put me through wet weather training up there and wet up a big area and that, and I had to get this bloody 150-ton haul truck thing, like belly dumper, and get it into a slide, but I was only going like a real little bit, and then the trainer says, upper mate, upper, they're full lock, and you can nearly touch the trailer out through your window. Because
it's articulate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they got what they call jackknife stops on them trucks, and they're all made out of like concentrated, what do you call it? Concertine steel, like honey woven and that. Yeah. And that's the idea of them, is if you jackknife it, that takes all the shock out of going into the cab. Oh. But they cost a lot of money to rebuild and replace. So
they get worn.
Well, the only time you're really allowed to bang them up is if you did doing the train, they kind of wear that then. But once you've been training that, like they don't appreciate it. No. Yeah. But the training was good because the wet season was there. Hence why I was driving them, because I had to park the scrapers up and then go on the trucks and loaders. And lucky I did that bit of training, because when I come down off the dump bridge there, and it had like a bit of a switchback straight after it, and I went in a big slide and started going off the road. But then your training kicked in, and with the belly dumpers, you just like pull your trailer brake on and hold it flat on your tractor, and then it kind of straightens it out. But without that
kind
training,
of like driving through your retarder in cat truck.
But the training was good because like I sort of, when it happened, I felt I was aware, like a much better feel for it.
Not going like fuck.
Yeah. Whereas
your legs go.
Whereas a lot of these days, a lot of people don't even get to experience that,
no, because they
get to do it when it happens.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like too late.
And that's where it can get scary out there. If there's a lot of new people on site who haven't driven in the wet, and you don't get a lot of places. They don't do the wet weather training because of wear and tear on tyres, for one, and time out of the circuit and blah, blah, training. Yeah. But I find the scariest part other than, you know, if you're the one going sideways down the ramp or around the corner or something, is if you're the one loaded going up the ramp and there's a truck coming at you that's fucking losing their shit. You're like, oh, just stop here, and then you can get stuck on the ramp because they're going, and you've got to make these split decisions because sometimes, especially here in Queensland, the rain just comes like that.
Yeah, I can tell you a few stories about that too, but we might leave that for another day.
We might. We're going to be here all day. I am on my last beer, so we might move on.
Yeah.
We might move on. So after Charter Stouts, you got away from crocodiles.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to Ravenswood Gold Mine as well. Same thing there, just driving like trucks, diggers, graders, whole box and dice. Then we left there and went down to Norwich Park there about 14 years ago.
Oh,
yeah,
it's close.
So we moved from Charter Stouts to Claremont, and we're only just renting there, but just to sort of we're just sussing things out and that, and then we had a bit of a look over here on the coast, and then we ended up buying over here because, like, even though like myself and my ex-partner there, like we lived up Weipa and on the beach and all that all them years, but the kids really didn't experience that because they were only babies when we left Weipa, you know, and so that's why we come to Caelan here, like, about then, so give the kids a bit of a go on the beach for a change. And then so then I was at Norwich Park for a little bit, and then I went to 2005 I started with These at Burton Downs. I did 7 years there with them. I did 5 first off, and then I left and went down to Miles at the new Canby Downs coal mine. Okay. Because I had a property down there, and it was only like 20 minutes from property to the job. So, and it used to be quite funny because when I used to work at Burton, and after night shift, and I used to take me 7.5 hours to drive to Miles, and which I used to do that. It was a bit touch and go at times. You know, might have to pull up and have a little nap here and there.
Good idea.
And then sometimes when I was working at Canby Downs and I was only 20 minutes from home, and after night shift, I was flat out making it home.
It's 20 minutes!
Yeah.
Well, your fatigue can kick in at any time, as they say. But when you're fatigued.
Yeah, so did 2 years. That was a brand new mine there, so I was part of all that, and I was trainer assessor and all that there as well. You know, as well as all the other equipment. And then I moved back to Mackay and went back to Burton for another 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I took a redundancy there, then in long service. Yeah.
Were you there till the end? Because that closed.
Yeah. Oh well,
didn't it?
That was. Yeah. Well, they were kind of winding down pretty much then, but it did run for another year or so.
Yeah.
Just
they had a skeleton.
Just a skeleton crew, you know. But no, I just thought I'd grab me money and run and have a little bit of a time off, and then I went back up to Weipa, did a trip up to Weipa, and went back and did a little bit of prospecting and just fishing and crabbing up there, and it was like 17 years since I'd been up to Weipa at that point. Yeah, so
has it expanded and like grown immensely in that time, or not really?
They started to the mines are going wider and further afield now, and also the housing estates and that they always got bigger and bigger. Yeah,
like most places.
Yeah, and it's really going off up there now too. You know,
because there's a lot of mines up there.
I've been half toying with going back up there as well, but if I go back there, I want to go back there with Rio, so I can be on all the good loops and perks and have 4 on 4 off. I could go up there anytime with contract, but I've been there, done all that stuff before, over the years and that, and just so one day maybe, I don't know.
So does that lead you on to where you are now?
Well, no, I had the month. I had about a month and a half off, and then I come back and thought, I get back to work, I suppose, and then and then I started out at Dornier there, as labour hire, so then I did the 3.5 years labour hire thing, and which I wasn't happy about, and and I was fairly involved in with the petition that was going on to stop the labour hire and that. And
that created the labour hire inquiry.
Yeah,
they had.
Yeah,
because I did a big submission for that as well.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
There was a lady I met out at Dorney, and she was, like pretty much running, organising everything, and I just kind of was having a bit of a yak to her on the Hall Road on Morning, whatever it is there or something, and then I actually met her at the camp and that there, and then I, was through like out Dorney there, and that was getting a lot of petitions and that, and but unfortunately we didn't get enough, which was surprising.
But they have had a lot of changes recently.
Yeah.
They have to at least. Now I'm going to have to smack you if you keep making that noise. That's all right.
I'll go and get a full one.
Go and get a full one then. Yeah.
Am I allowed to go and get a full one?
You can go and get a full one.
All right.
Sorry, he was just cracking his can. I've had a couple of people do that. I have to smack you. Mad Baz was the worst.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Oh, we'll do the.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're on the wrong can.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't muck around, mate.
I don't muck around. So now they have to be licensed labour hire contractors here, which they never used to be. I can't believe they never used to have to be. Because they had government inquiry and a lot has changed since then. But for
I'm
those
actually going
who
through the channels to sort of a bit of that out actually, and see check my entitlements. And
stuff. A bit deeper. So can you explain to people who are listening why it sucks, just as an overview, because we've still got a lot to talk about, but why it sucks to be a labour hire for 3.5 years?
Well, it's pretty straightforward, really, because of the obviously you get no holiday pay, no sick days. When it rains, you get put off, so you lose days there. I went from being like pretty good financially, and then did the 3.5 years, and near ruined me. Yeah.
And it's a reduced amount of money as well.
Oh yeah. So,
different hourly rate.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And the annoying part too is then, like, it's just a system, I suppose, which is wrong. When you're going to have you've been doing this job for a long time, you think you should be paid accordingly, for the experience and that, but yet that doesn't really sort of, come into it. Then you can have new starters starting in there and be permanent straight up and getting more money than what people have got with 20, 25 years experience, and it just doesn't. Well, I mean, good on them people who are getting that.
Because that's not their fault.
No, that's exactly right.
That's right.
Yeah. No, it's more the system, But I've always been, when I was with Thies at Burton there, everybody was on the same pay rate. Digger driver, truck driver, didn't matter. You're all the same, and I was quite happy with that.
No level 1, 2 and 3.
No, it was only the last 12 months I was there, maybe, where we went through a new EVA, and then they end up bringing in, I think we used to get, if you're a digger operator, we used to get an extra $30 a day if you're on the digger. But, over the fortnight, well, that equated to probably $250 extra in your pay, which is good, but it didn't really worry me, I've never been one to think that I should get more, it's just a job. I've been doing it that long. I don't reckon it's that hard, it doesn't matter whether you drive a truck or a digger or a grader, or you're all one team,
Now for a word from our sponsor, Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. Julia's my awesome accountant. She's written 2 books with financial expert Noel Whittaker, and she's got a passion to help us miners make the most out of our hard-earned cash. She's got heaps of tips and makes sure that we get every cent we are meant to get, and is right on the ball with everything. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet, all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things, and you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. And that's just one of the things that they've got over there. So I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and see what they can do and find your nearest office as we come up to tax time. They're really on the ball, know what's going on with the tax department, and there's heaps of other free information like property investing. If you really plan on doing some great things with your money, you want to do that, right? If you want to sell your house, can save a lot of money if you find out what to do first rather than in hindsight. And Julia, she'll, make sure you get it right. And if you do it wrong and then go and see her, she'll up you in the nicest possible way, because she really cares about us and wants us to keep our money and not give it to the tax department. Anyway, head over to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumzie sent you. Let's go down this rabbit hole that I mentioned earlier I wanted to go down. Because you're a digger driver. Bit of a gun. If you're working side by side with my bird.
Bit of a gun?
A bit of a gun. You must be a good digger driver.
Oh, I'll just do what I need to do. No,
I'd never do. Oh, don't talk yourself
blame my own horn or anything. No.
Yeah, but
I'd just like to get this one in there. But yeah, I did, my time to fame is I did drive the first 9800, that Lieber 9800 digger that come to Australia. So
right, that's where I was going.
And then like I said, I started on those little old diggers years ago, chain sprocket, and then I went to 20 tonners and 30, 50 tonners, 100 tonners, 250. I've done my apprenticeship. And
so therefore it was good?
Yeah.
Did you have a bit of a fuck yeah, I got the... Are they the orange ones?
No, they're
Lieber's white.
Lieber's white, yeah. Hitachi you're talking about.
So they got 9800s?
Yeah.
Oh, is that like a 998? See, I know Lieber diggers as 996, 994.
Well, 996s were the bomb before the 9800. But I still prefer 996 even now today.
Yeah, I reckon our mate would too.
I don't. Yeah.
So 9800 is a Lieber, but it come out,
but it's bigger. So
after the 996. So why is it not called 998?
Oh, I don't know. They just make up these...
Can you just get on the phone and call Lieber?
They just make up these numbers, Yeah,
because I always thought 9800 was the orange Hitachi ones, because it doesn't sound like a Lieber to me.
Yeah, no, you got the Hitachi 800s or something, I think they call them, which is equivalent to the Lieber 9800s, yeah.
So have you driven Hitachi diggers?
The 5600, the 5500, all the little ones before that, right up to the 5500 and the latest one's the 5600. Yeah, I've driven all them.
Yeah, right.
So I haven't driven the 800, I think they call it.
Yeah, right, the big.
Oh well, it's just the same as like the 9800.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
but Lieber's the better. I'll drive the Hitachi if that's what I've got to do, but I prefer Liebers.
Yeah, I do too, and I don't drive them.
Yeah.
But I just like them. They're white.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've had to clean them a lot in the water car.
Yeah.
And they've been in my world a lot more. Hitachis have been the little shitty little higher ones they've had. It's funny how that's what you get used to. And I've known some Lieber digger fitters and stuff who are pretty cool. So I'm like, I'm a Lieber girl. I've never operated one in my life.
I just like being down. See, when I started at Lake Vermont 7 months ago, well, I was 3 months there straight on the 9800, and then they had a couple other younger fellows coming up, and they started giving them a crack in that, and it's good because then I'm back on the 996s, but one day I'll be digging coal, or half a day digging overburden, and then you'll go on the coal, and I like that bit more variety in that, I don't like, when you're on that 98, you're just sitting in overburden all the time, for me that gets a little bit boring, like
smashing out the dirt. For those that don't know, overburden is dirt and rock.
Yeah, but then also then you're in the limelight all the time. Everyone's watching you, you know, the figures, tonnage and all that, you know.
Yeah,
like,
more pressure.
Yeah,
I've
been there, done all that, like, you know, leave that for the young fellas now.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to step down, you know.
And just take them under your wing? Do you help them out?
Oh, yeah, I've always been like that, yeah. Like I said, I've been a trainer assessor too over the years and that, yeah. And I
in
always,
diggers too?
Yeah, diggers, graders, dozers, loaders, anything.
Yeah.
Trainer.
Yeah. So, for people that are looking to get into the industry or who have just started as a truckie, let's go truckie, newbie, going under a digger, which is an excavator, or some people call them backhoe without the back bit, I call it, I don't know. Isn't it?
Just digger.
It's a digger, because we had a supervisor who called them backhoe. It's not backhoe.
Backhoes has got like they were my favourite machine before I got into mining. Like
because they've got a scoopy bit on the back.
Yeah, you got your digger because it was the best of both worlds. You had your loader and your digger, and that's why they were my. Yeah, I drove one of them out at Kakadu up in Darwin there twice, fixing road crossings and that when I was up there. Yeah.
So a 996 ain't no backhoe.
No.
Why? No. I'm not going there, but people that know me know who I'm talking about. And we always knew he didn't know much about mining.
Exactly. If he's calling him a backhoe, a digger, a backhoe, well, obviously he doesn't know too much, you know.
Not just any digger, a 996.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah. But anyway.
We'll get these big backhoe girls going. Yeah, right, whatever. Anyway, so for truckies who start and they're trying to figure out, how the fuck do I read the mind of a digger driver? How can they be the best?
Yeah, well, good luck.
What
with
do you
that.
want to know? Yeah, like, I'll leave it open to you. Whatever you think you want to say to them. I've got a couple of things that I usually say.
Oh, well, you know, there is like as you would know, like every digger driver is a little bit different, but there still is a basic standard. You know, to there's a few different dig patterns. You know. Whether you're double benching, whether you're retreating, there is a general, you know, position to come into and all that. But there is a lot of variables in it at times, you know, like depending on bench height, materials, all sorts of stuff comes into it. But just a general run of the mill, but this is one of the ongoing things, you know, in mining. And like I know truckies get frustrated with it, you know, because they go, oh, I went under that digger and where I was looking in the mirror and backing up to his front of his track and that was fine for him, and then I went the end of this other digger drive and he's like, you know, move over to your left, you know, but it's a bit hard to get away with that, but because some digger drivers just, you know, they'll sit closer or further away, and then that all changes the spot where you can come in on to reaching the truck. And so the best way of that is you just have a talk to the digger driver at crib time and just tell him, you know, they'll tell you, rather than go on over the radio and make you, you know, feel like an idiot, you can just talk to them at the crib time and say, oh, hey, where would you like me to come in on the track, or a little bit on the idler, or, you know, and they'll let you know then. That's
it. And you get to know who's in the digger.
Yeah.
Where they might like you on the tip of the track, meter off, this, that. And even though they say no, like the training department will tell you, no, this is where it is, this is how it is. And then you get out there and you go, no, that's not. There are personal preferences from digger drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I got a bit cranky at one of the pubs there where I was working there the other week, actually, because this young fitter, he was in there, and he wasn't at our mine, he was another mine there, because there's quite a few in that area. And then he started going on about truckies and that, and how they whinging and carrying on about, oh, come fix my radio, AMF radio, and, you know, and all this shit.
Well, that's what you're paid to do, mate. And that's your job.
And I said, well, you know, I don't know if you spent much time in a truck, mate, but I said, I have done over the years ago, and I said, and one thing I never did was forgot where I come from. I said, it's a, you know, long time in that truck all day, every day, and especially night shift. I said, and the radio is a fatigue thing, mate.
Fatigue management, that's right.
Yeah. I said, so I'm not going to be part of your rant here, and I said, you won't get any sympathy from me, mate, over there. I said, because they their radio's not working, well, it should be fixed as soon as it can be. Yeah. So I went off and had a go and Phil because I didn't want to talk to him anymore.
That's better than standing there and having an argument.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about newbies at the moment, as far as coming in under the digger and stuff, so talk to digger driver, what do you see these days as the best way to get into mine?
Well, you pretty much it always helps if the mines or companies they like do prefer you to sort of, they always target around that 20-year-old roughly, so you've already had a year or two sort of out in the real world, bit of general sort of different type jobs and stuff like that, and and then obviously if you can if you're lucky enough to just get a traineeship where they put you through all that stuff, well, that's good. But if you can't, it's getting that way now with everything picking up where you can get away with that now. But go back a year or two ago, like when everything was labour hire and that, well, if you had it's like I did this like years ago too. I went when I changed from metalliferous to coal. Well, I went and put myself through my black coal back in them days. Which is the same as like your RIIs now. And I paid for that myself. I paid for my coal board medical, and I really couldn't afford it. Really, it cost me back then about $1,200 because I was up in Charlestown. I had to come down Mackay and then I had to go to Moranbah and do the BMA SGS thing as well. Yeah. But I bit the bullet and I sometimes it's about helping yourself as well. Not just sitting back and waiting. For things to come to you. You've got to go chase it. And if you do that little bit, to help yourself, well, that goes for you because they see that, well, here's a self-starter, someone who's willing to get out and try and make the effort to get themselves in the right direction, and that can go for you. You can be lucky to get a job where they pay for everything and that, but and it's probably is heading that way now, but it won't last. It'll only another, as mining cycle every 5 years or so, and then she'll go back the other way. But it was more so that way in the last year, 2 or 3, that if you, especially labour, because the less they got to pay for, well, they're going to put people on who's already got their Stand 11 and coal board medical rather than have to, because it's all about the money, especially when the coal price is down. It's all about the money.
Yeah. And coal board medical now is called a Section 4, which sounds like the psych wing,
Section 4, that's
Section 4 is your coal board medical, your black coal. There's a black coal board medical. Section 4 is what it's called now, which is.
But and anything you can do along the way, because you got to remember you're competing. I'll give you an example. When I got that job up in Weipa with Camalco. And when I went in the first day, I went in to do the inductions and all that sort of stuff. They said, well, you want to think yourself lucky, because there was about 20 of us started that day. And they said, you just want to think yourself lucky, like use a 20 out of I think it was about 4,000 applicants. They're the sort of odds you're competing with.
That's right, you got to stand out.
So you got to stand out, put your best foot forward, and show them that you're really keen, and the more you can have in on your resume and good referees and all that sort of it all helps.
That's it. And a little bit of I drove the tractor at the cane farm growing up or whatever, stuff like that, anything mechanical.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Mad Mumzie says. So what about people who maybe they've got their dream job, they've got their start. And
you're killing me here. I haven't had a smoke for ages now.
Oh my God, come on. Okay, this will make you talk quicker. You're right. You said you wanted to give up. We got to, because I'm nearly out of beer, so we got to wrap up.
In my own time.
For newbies who are already on site.
Mm.
Just give us your top 3 best tips for them dealing with crew.
Yeah,
You know where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Just listen to like say the digger operator or dump dozer operator. Don't take it to heart if these you might be in the wrong spot, whether you're on the dump or at the digger. Don't take it to heart or anything. Just because that's one thing. If you're in mining, you have a bit of a thick skin, and as you'll work that out as you just go along. Just take all the advice you can along the way, and obviously there's you learn like me over the years. There's different people show you different things, tell you different things, and then you just got to be you at the time you take it on board, but as you go along you sort of pick the best out of everything and.
Yeah, that's right. Because everyone
you get
in a truck, they're just going to tell you something different, and just take it all and then blend it your way.
Like if you're on a digger, like myself, like there's probably like 3 different ways you can go about doing a certain dig pattern,
Yeah.
But and I watched when I was younger and just getting on the diggers and that, and I watched the older fellas but there'll be a few different ones and I thought, well that's all right, and but I like this idea because it works better because what X reason, and you just adapt your own what you think's the best as you go along. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but
that's right. But also you don't want to reinvent the wheel.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So you blend the two.
The main thing is when you're new and that you just got to listen and take other people's advice, like from who've been doing it for a long time, and then as you go along and you start getting a bit more experience yourself, then you can start sort of forming your own opinion or way you should, you'll know what's right from wrong then, and what works the best. And
great advice. Great advice. Okay, we might just do some short fire questions.
Short
fire. Is that a word?
Boom.
That's not.
Boom boom.
Boom boom.
We're shooting off the hip here.
We're not stabbing the pigs, we're shooting them. All right. So, when you first started, what were your biggest struggles?
Probably, because like I say, I was only 22, and I'm probably going to have to eat a bit of humble pie here, but...
No! A digger driver eating humble pie! Copy, call the word.
I wasn't so much back in Camalco, like, so much on the diggers, but I was like loader and dozer and trucks and graders and everything else, but being young, you think you know everything, but you don't. But you don't realise that until... a few years later, like might be like 5 years later, 10 years later, even when you're early 30s, like you're still learning. But when I was young, but I did like come from, like I say, because I started work early, and I'd been on civil machinery, backhoes load and all that, I did think that I did know everything, and it wasn't until a few years later that I thought, oh, hang on a minute, but I did. The fellas were probably trying to do the right thing, but I didn't really take that on board at the time. I just thought, well, you're not going to tell me. I know what's going on here,
So that's the older fellas?
Not the real old fellas, but probably more the ones that were in their 30s or 40s, then. I probably should have, looking back now, I worked this out a long time ago now, but, I should have listened a lot more instead of making out I knew everything when I didn't,
And that is something that's come up over and over again. I'm glad you brought that up in interviews on the podcast is, once you've been doing it 6 months or something, tell me about trucks or something. I'm gun trucking. And then you have a major fuck up and you go, one lady I interviewed, she did big 360 down the ramp and, she thought she was the shit.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't take much to put you back and go, all right then. Yeah. And you're always learning, whether it's a new piece of equipment or, always trying to improve yourself, in all parts of life. Okay, very good. What is your favourite roster and why?
Probably be the the 7 and 7, I suppose. Just because purely you get your 7 days off, you got time to. It just depends on where I'm living and where I'm working, and all that can change my view on rosters as well.
7 and 7 is good if you're away.
If you're working, living got to drive a long way, you know.
There's less trips.
Yeah, that's right.
You're home longer.
Yeah, like I say, that just all comes down to personal preferences, really, like in your situation and
now,
what's going on in your life. And
when we were just having a brief outline of what we may or may not cover in this interview, you told me your favourite roster was 5 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
I said, oh no, we've got to say that. But 5 and 2 is normally supervisor office kind of shindig, but your version?
Yeah, no, my version is 5 days off, 2 days on.
5 and 2, that's right. 5 off, 2 on, that's right.
Same money, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah, that's right. That's not even time. Fuck even time. That's so old school.
I've done all the rosters.
What's the
all the
longest
scenarios.
roster that you've done?
It'd be like the two and one, I suppose.
2 and 1,
yeah, sort of. But I don't like that. It's too long, you know. It's all right if you're probably, single and working out in the middle of whoop and that, and young and want to save heaps and that, I suppose. But I don't know. It's just too long for me. But you're nearly ready to kill people after 7 days, let alone 2 weeks.
Yes, that's right. And I'm going to kill you. Crack that can again. Okay, any tips for sleeping, especially night shift?
Righto. It is a hard one. I mean, I'll tell you what I do, but it is a hard one because, as you know, everybody's got their own schedule and, but for me, I always just treat it like when you're working day shift, like you come home from work, you stay up a couple of hours, and then you go to bed. Most people, like when you're on day shift, you go to bed like 9:30 or something like that, So I always try and run with that. Like when you're on night shift, a lot of people come home off night shift, then they'll go to bed straight away, but then they'll be up at lunchtime. If not,
and whinging their guts about it at tea. I've been up all day.
And then that becomes a long time until you knock off again. And then obviously that sets them up to go to sleep straight away the next morning because they're obviously that tired.
Yeah.
But I've always just tried it. When I'm on night shift, I'll come home, but I'll stay up for a few hours. I won't go to bed till 9:30, probably 10.
Yeah.
And then I'll just sleep right through till say 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Nice.
Get up just enough to go and have dinner, get organised, and go to work. And
perfect.
so you treat it just the same. That's. Doesn't always work, but it's just the general rule of me thumb. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I've tried that going to bed straight after night shift and everything, but I just don't like waking up at 11, 12 o'clock, and then you're up for that whole time then because you can't get back to sleep then, or just when you are ready to feel like you come 4:30, 5 o'clock. Then you're starting to ready to go to bed, feel like you could nod off again, but then you got to go to work.
You got to get up and go to actual work now.
It's like when you're on day shift. When you're on day shift, you get up, and you don't get up that much. Maybe an hour or so. Hour and a half before you're actually going to go to work on day shift, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, so
you can do the same on night shift.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. So when you...
But like I say, I understand, everyone's different and with sleep patterns and everything, and so you just got to find what works for you at the end of the day, really.
Yeah, and different, like you say, different times it works.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way. Okay, what about your old PPE, your hard hats, your clothing issues, even right down to your sign-in cards, like your swipe cards. I knew one girl who kept them because she liked to compare how fat she was. Like, what, really? Stop it! know, because they
with
take
the
your
photo.
picture.
Yeah.
She goes, I was looking good there. I was having a good hair. Lovely Suze.
Well, obviously you work shirts and trousers. They, as anyone would know in mine, they become your fishing clothes.
But not, see, I don't really.
I mean,
you always wear them fishing.
Yeah, or out mowing the yard and that.
Yep.
Yeah, because most of them they're good, like so you don't get burnt and stuff and that. And,
yeah.
But I mean, I've probably still got some new clothes that I never opened from back in my Weipa days.
Because we get so many. I took a photo. I'll put it
a little
in
bit
the
hard
show
getting into
notes.
them now, you know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I took a photo of all mine, and I had like a mountain of pants and shirts. From over the years, you get the clothing issue all the time and stuff. They've backed off a lot in the last few years because of money and stuff. But back then, you got it whether you needed it or not.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people in this area, especially. Yeah. Every time we see them, they've got a bloody work shirt on. See, I'm the opposite. I'm not at work. I don't want to wear my fucking work shirt in the garden. I'll wear an old T-shirt or something. But each to their own. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not having a go. I'm just saying that a lot of people do that. Oh, yeah, no,
I just... I got pretty much a new jacket from every mine I've been in, still hanging in the cupboards and that. But the older ones, then they just go in my ute and they're like camping jackets and fishing jackets and...
visitor jackets. Yeah. You've always got a visitor... Yeah. When someone visits, you've got a jacket.
You always got a pillow.
Pissing down with the rain, a pillow on night. Yeah.
I did. I always, even in summertime, I always still carded jacket, you know. Yeah.
On night shift to work?
Yeah.
In case you get a chance for a nap?
A little bit of that, but mainly because, you know, you don't know, like rain comes in and that, and you just...
And then you're freezing.
That's right.
That sucks. Now... Earlier you were telling me about your hard hats. Yeah. What do you do with those?
I've got a few of them from over the years and that, but pretty much they just stay in the shed or my container and that, and I don't know.
You don't make pot hangers out of them, plant petunias in them? That's one of the things I've heard of.
No, I haven't really.
I've got mine hanging up in my shed. Yeah. Just in the area, and because what I like the best about my hard hats is the stickers that are on it. You know, and the drawings on the couple.
You're not supposed to put stickers on
them. I know, but everyone does. Most people do. But, yes. Okay, do you... I'm smacky. Do you have any stories about work boots, steel caps? Have you ever left them home? Have you ever had a scorpion in them or a snake or... Freaking don't tell me there's a crocodile story around your work boots.
It just ate the whole boot and leg. No. No, not really, actually. Only like that one, when we went to Darwin and we called into Pine Creek, which is a gold mine, and there's a big famous tree in there, and that's pretty much called the boot tree. Yeah. Because everybody, I think, like when they're leaving or whatever, or they get the new issue, they all go down to this one tree in Pine Creek and they all throw their boots up, and it was quite funny to see.
Oh, yeah.
But a couple of them missed, and there are the odd pair hanging on the power lines.
On the power lines, yeah. When I left one mine, I hung my boots up on the fence. Outside my unit, my donga, and then when I left, and then the next day when I was packing up, like, that was on the piece, I'm never going back to mining. And then I'm like, but those boots are still all right. Yeah. And I went and got them off and took them home.
I don't know if you ever...
I put them in the garden. As
righto. Yeah, no, haven't really done anything really with them, but...
And have you ever had creatures in them?
Probably just the odd cane toad.
Cane toad?
Yeah, that's why, hence why I don't really leave my boots and that, as you can see, my shoes and joggers and that are over there. But that stems from coming up, from Weipa and Darwin and all that, whereas I've had actually like death adders and brown snakes like in the car. I used to always just leave my cast nets for fishing and that outside the door there, patio and that. and I've had snakes and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So just bring everything inside. You didn't bring your fishing nets
I didn't get a scorpion or a centipede in my boot, but when my oldest lad was a baby up Weipa, we were going out and we were putting his boots on, and the next minute he started squealing, and we wondered what was going on, but he thought it might have been like nappy pin, back in them days, we
real nappies.
Yeah, pins and all that, and he's still squealing, like, well, what the bloody hell going on? And we just put his boots on. Yeah, we pulled his boots off, and there was this big centipede, one of those big orange and black ones. Oh. So obviously must have bit him and that, yeah.
Oh, was his foot alright?
Yeah,
like, did it swell up or anything?
No, not really, but yeah, it took a while before he settled down, but yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouch.
Bloody soft, these kids
I
these
hadn't
days,
even thought about bloody kids' boots.
Yeah, but...
women, have you got any tips for women? What have you seen work and not work? Or whatever you want to say about women, because I've had a very varying degrees of answers on this.
Oh, right,
in the industry. Not in general, like.
Oh, don't get started. Oh, don't get me started. No, I've worked with many women in mining over the years, and I've got a lot of good friends, women in mining over the years, and all I can really say is just keep strive to achieve, and don't take any shit from loudmouth digger drivers.
Yeah. Gold, that's awesome, thank you.
Or anyone, like stand your ground, challenge them if you think something's not right. Like obviously there's a degree where you sort of, if you don't know stuff, you got to listen, but there comes a point where sometimes you can get some weirdo digger drivers out there at times too. Believe me, I've been in the game a long time. Oh yeah,
assholes.
Yep, that's it, and challenge them. Sometimes they might want you to back the truck up in a not so safe position, or on a dump that's not really slumping or whatever, like, and they're quite happy for you to go out there and do it if you want to, but if you don't feel like it's safe, or just stand your ground, challenge them.
And that goes for everyone, not just women.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
I know that's what. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. And when life turns to shit, as it can for many of us, and I'm sure you've had your times over the years.
Oh yeah.
What is your happy place, Will?
Mostly, I'd like me fishing and crabbing, and just like to go down there and chill out, and it doesn't matter whether I get a fish or a crab or not. I just have a go, but I'm just quite happy chilling down there. Yeah, and then hopefully my next long service, a few years down the track, then I'm going to take off and go prospecting full time. Then you'll see me on the on that show that's on telly now, over in the west there, and that. Yeah.
The gold.
Yeah, the Aussie.
Is it gold?
Yeah, Aussie gold diggers or something like that. Yeah, I just haven't looked. But I've done all that. But I've done that while I was married, and had kids, and sort of did it on my days off. And because when I was working with Camalco, I took my annual holidays back when I was only like 24 and 25, and I took my annuals 2 years in a row. And when everyone else is heading into Weipa because the wet season's coming, well, then I'm taking annual and I'm going the other way and heading up in the mountains, because I was chasing the gold. I wanted to be up there when the rain was on and that. So.
Right, so I'm going to interrupt you here, because I have made a management decision that I'm going to come back, and we're going to sit down and we're going to do this again, and we're going to talk all about those prospecting days.
Yeah.
Because I know there'll be heaps of stories about that. Yeah. Even what you were telling me the other night, with the slurry thing and this and that.
Yeah, because my uncle taught me when I was 18,
Yeah, so we need to...
I've been doing it a long time, but I want to eventually just do it full time one of these days and that.
And that's your escape plan.
Yeah, that's right, maybe. Yep.
Which is when I said, you've got an escape room, you should come on my podcast.
Because there comes a time where you just got to move over and move on and let the other young ones have a go in
That's
mining.
it. And sometimes, like, after how many years altogether is it now? You've been mining?
25 years now.
25. You just get, I fucking know it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Some people do,
Yeah.
You've obviously
And
enjoyed
I've
it.
noticed within myself, just especially the last 12 months, probably, I just I just don't know if I can do this much longer. It doesn't worry me how much money I've got or anything. Like, I don't need anything. I live at Cape York and Darwin. I can live anywhere. I just want to be free and do my own thing.
And that is where part 2 of our chat
And I have
will
found
come.
like big patches before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like, that was a lot of years ago, and the gold price was right down then. But like, the same lot I found then was only about $30,000 then, which was a big haul. Was 75 ounces,
Yeah.
And that same lot now would be like 130,000, 40,000. Like, I have done it. But it's because long time dead. You got to enjoy your life for a year.
That's it.
That was my
And
uncle's
enjoy
thing. He only worked 6 months a year. He was a grader driver all his life.
Yep.
And that's all he did. He did 6 months, and then he had 6 months off chasing gold. And I was just lucky enough that he taught me the ropes when I was 18. And anyway, we'll leave the rest for another time.
Well, we are lucky enough that we'll get Will to teach us the ropes, and
you can do that.
Share some of that in the next chat. You got to head out to work night shift tomorrow.
I head out tomorrow, RB, for day shift next week on one. Yeah.
So we'll catch up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have done all this bit, and we'll just talk about the prospecting side of stuff. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. You can go and have a smoke now.
Oh, right, thank you.
Oh, and I can go home and have some more beer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'll come out too. Thanks, Will. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Gee, it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, no, that was good.
That was good. And now
I feel that a little bit, but then I got to forget about that, and then I'm right.
That is pointing at the microphone.
I just feel like...
That's what I mean. It's a conversation between a couple of miners, having a few drinks, tell us your story, give us a few tips. Yeah. That's what it is. And once it's out, you'll know what a podcast is.
Yeah. It was, like when we were talking about the donkeys and all that before,
Heater, that is.
Huh?
Yeah, a heater, not a, like... Yeah. I can't even make a donkey noise. Eeyore. Yeah.
That's good. You go and have a smoke, eh?
You go and have a smoke.
Yeah.
Beauty, and I'll pack up.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Thanks, Will. Well, there you go. That was Will. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. And how lucky am I get to go back and have a chat with Will in a few days for our part 2. So thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, good on you. I know it was a long episode, but I hope you agree too that it was worth the wait, and it might have taken you a few chunks at getting through it, and that is fine. That's what podcasting is all about. At your leisure, when you want to hit play, it remembers when you're up to. It's time for me to finally say goodbye to you now. Please share this podcast with your mates, subscribe in your favourite podcast app so you don't miss an episode. And if anyone asks, how do I get a job in the mines? Send them my way. Until next time, stay safe, be real, be special, and have fun. For we only live once. Cheers. P.S. Hit me up on social media at Mad Mumzie on everything. MUMZIE.